to present to the City of Johannesburg and didn't to how do I actually get this idea to find expression. So our role is to find those ideas and to create a process for people to actually engage with the city. And alone. We have gone on a series of call outs in order to try to source out the best of the best ideas that present themselves to us as the City of Johannesburg. And today we feel like you are representing that. So the goal of this unit in particular is to act as the city's front door, so to say. So we exist to the innovators. Now to the heads of the city, one of the things that we found with this initiative is that people are obviously clamoring to share their ideas and to figure out how they can be more proactive citizens, how they can present to the City of Johannesburg to deal with the problems that might be right in their own back doors or backyards. So this initiative started back in 2020 during COVID, where we were trying to find new ideas because we needed to be more innovative. We couldn't go out into communities, we couldn't go deliver services, and all of those ideas did not sit inside of the City of Johannesburg. So we have iterated, we have had different iterations. We've had an external call for COVID. We then had an external call for COVID. We then had an external call for SMMEs who had ideas that could come into the city. We then went internal and said, you know what, we have a lot of young, innovative employees who also want to be able to express their ideas. So we did an innovation call internally. And then lastly, we said, well, let's go to each one of the regions and find out what is there in the communities that we can also source and bring to life. And that is why we are here today. So you will find that representatives from all of those core cohorts are sitting here amongst us today, and hopefully during the times when we're going around the exhibitions, there will be an opportunity for me to introduce you to from one of our first winners, which is Oratile here in the yellow. Stand up, Oratile. She won back in 2020. With her amazing application for cashless environments within the public transport system and all the way to our cohorts today. You will meet the others as we go along with the program. So without further ado, because I know my political heads have time constraints, I am going to ask them to please prime up and prep our first video for the day before we prime up and prep. Our first video for the day before we start off the program.
My name is Brandon Fernandez, and I'm the founder and CEO of grassroots. We're an innovative technology company that focuses on building custom software, data analytics, and business intelligence reporting solutions. We're one of the winners. Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm the founder and CEO of grassroots. We're an innovative on building custom software, data analytics, and business intelligence reporting solutions. We're one of the winners of the City of Joburg Smart City Innovation Challenge. And winning this challenge gave us an opportunity to work with Pick It Up as a city entity, and we helped it develop multiple custom BI dashboards. Our business intelligence solutions covered landfills, fleet management, service delivery, operational KPIs. Since winning this opportunity, we've gone to further contract with Pick It Up to the revenue leakage. This can save the municipality hundreds of millions every year.
Okay, when something is not working, sometimes we have to move on. Can you perhaps work on that, and we will be able to do 2 videos after the next discussion. From Wits University's perspective, we will be welcoming the Wits Deputy Vice Chancellor, Lynn Morris. Just by way of introduction, Lynn Morris, she's the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation. One of Africa's top university drives innovation, research, and real-world impact. With over 290 publications and global recognitions, her work has influenced research and innovation efforts not just in South Africa, but globally. She is an NRF A-rated scientist, reflecting the highest level of research excellence in South Africa. You want to be under the tutelage of someone like this, someone who's assessing your projects and can give you the input that you need. So today she plays a role of bridging research, innovation. She plays a...
And really wonderful to have you all here today. And thank you very much for doing all the formal introductions. And I do want to just say that amongst many of the people that were introduced, many are Wits graduates. So thought I would make that note. But I also want to acknowledge, in addition to the MMC and the CEO, and of course the director of Smart City, and of course the head of innovation partnerships, also all the colleagues from Johannesburg Water, Pick It Up, Economic Development, Health and City Parks and Zoo. So these are all the people that are critical to running of our city. But I want to make a special mention to our top 7 who I think haven't been revealed yet. So you might know who you are, but no, we don't know yet. So we look forward to that announcement. But history room at the Origin Centre, which really recounts our proud history. So take a moment to also read our proud history. So take a moment to also read the placards that accompany these beautiful tapestry. But I really do want to commend the City of Johannesburg for creating this program and for choosing to run it with Wits and with Shomologong, because it's really of Joburg who deal with. But I also just want to, to talk about Wits as a university. So, as Monique mentioned, my title is Research and Innovation. And that was a very deliberate, positioning, so that because Wits sees itself very much as what we're calling these days an entrepreneurial university. We really want to be engaged in. And I do want to quote our Vice Chancellor, Professor Zeblon Vilakazi, he's driving this initiative, but he always says, this relationship between Wits and the city is critical and key. Because if Wits fails, the city fails. If the city fails, Wits fails. We are completely dependent on each other. And so really it's in our interest that we work together and make sure that we improve things. And it's a city that we all will choose to live in and be proud of. So and I think what Wits brings, of course, is it brings people. It brings students, researchers, who are curious, who are skilled, and who really are deeply motivated to make a difference. And just last week we had our graduation ceremonies. We had 20 graduation ceremonies. 5,500 young people went over that stage with degrees in engineering, in finance, in the arts, in finance, in the arts, and these are the people that are moving into these spaces to apply their knowledge and to make a difference. And of course, when we connect with the city, we can implement some of these things at scale, and that's really why it's important that we have this partnership. Because as a university, we need partners in order to really implement these big changes. I also just briefly want to talk about, and I know it's with the Gauteng provincial government, but I think it's an important partnership, and I think it really demonstrates how universities and government can work together. And in this case, we would obviously it would be with the city, but I do just want to talk about the Gauteng City Region Observatory, or the GCRO for short. So this is a very unique partnership between universities, it's Wits and University of Johannesburg, SALGA and GPG. And it's been going for it's coming up for 20 years actually. It's a very unique partnership. And it's a research entity, but it's really driven to solve specific problems And it's largely around, well, in fact, their flagship program is called the Quality of Life Survey, which they run every 2 to 3 years, where they go and they interview all the residents of the region, and ask them about service delivery, about are things getting better, are things getting worse, and it provides, real evidence and data, and it allows the Gauteng government to implement and intervene. And some of that I know does filter down to the city, because I know that data, in fact, that date, we had a board meeting yesterday, that data is downloaded by, and it's not just people in Gauteng who download that data. People all over the world download this data. So it's incredibly valuable, and it's used to design new programs and interventions. So I just wanted to give you an example of how these unique partnerships really can work. But I also want to mention the Wits, the WRHI, Wits Research Health Institute, which is in the inner city in Hillbrow, these are people who understand disease patterns and service needs delivery, and they were very important, for example, during COVID. And they really are integrated into the city, providing health services. And they are jointly appointed, they're academic staff, jointly appointed, through Wits. And just that interface between, academic thinking, where people are constantly innovating and doing research, and how you can directly implement it in the community. And similarly in planning and architecture, we've got many of our researchers working on informal settlements and housing upgrades, thinking about how we improve living conditions. But of course, because they're in the communities, they recognize the realities. So I also want to mention specifically Shimologong, because it's really an entity we're extremely proud of, and we were just reflecting on it earlier, that was started by a Wits academic, Prof. Barry Dwalatsky. Innovators will have a space where young people, coders, entrepreneurs, designers, can engage with real problems in the city and build solutions quickly. And I think that's really been brought to bear in this particular challenge. So I also just want to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, because ultimately that is what it's about, is how can people get these innovations and new ideas out there, but actually to really make an economic difference. And we have several other really important initiatives. Some of you may know something called the Crucible, started by the Wits Business School, which is actually at 47 Main Street. It's one of the former Anglo-American buildings, and we started a whole entrepreneurship clinic there. So that's really in the heart of the city, training people, entrepreneurial skills, and in fact they had their first graduates just a few weeks ago. So really just again emphasizing how the university is really bringing their resources to bear and to assist with some of these issues. So looking ahead, and I think that's what's important, we really want to see the spirit of collaboration grow between the university and
My name is Brendan Fernandez, and I'm the founder and CEO of Tech. We're an innovative technology company that focuses on building custom software, data analytics, and business intelligence reporting solutions. We're one of the winners of the City of Joburg Smart City Innovation Challenge, and winning this challenge gave us an opportunity to work with Pick It Up as a city entity, and we helped it develop multiple custom BI dashboards. Our business intelligence solutions covered landfills, fleet management, service delivery, and operational KPIs. Since winning this opportunity, we've gone to further contract with Pick It Up to develop automated weighbridge systems that help them digitally record transactions at all their landfill sites and reduce the opportunities of revenue leakage. This can save the municipality hundreds of millions every.
Hi, I'm Nivashni Rampasad. I'm the CEO of Smarty, a South African technology company that focuses on delivering intelligent physical asset and temperature monitoring solutions for private and public sector. Since winning the 2022 City of Johannesburg Smart City Innovation Challenge, we've been able to redesign our business, including new branding, and allowed us to also secure long-term contracts with a large South African retailer. Smart City Innovation Challenge also allowed us to, with the securing of new contracts in the private sector, we are able to actually grow our business significantly, and we currently sit with a team of 9 people in software development as well as in sales and marketing, as well as install over 5,000 devices nationally.
My name is Joe Athamahlangu. I'm the founder of BizTweak. BizTweak is a diagnostic platform which we built to help incubators, accelerators, and the ecosystem of SME development at large to be able to digitize the entrepreneurship development program.
To the next level. So the seed funding actually helps the ideas to come to life. Sometimes they're missing pieces of their technology, and this funding helps that to come to bear. Sometimes it just gives them a real-time, credible environment to go into. And with the city being as complex as it is, institutions will see that this bolsters the brand for these innovators when they are able to come into the city and be successful. It also helps them to in turn to go after additional funding. So we are creating relationships with TIA so that they can also create ongoing funding to help our initiative scale up. And, you know, more or less we help people to kickstart. And that's what this is about. It's kickstarting. Some come in, some just get our support and get bolstered by this initiative. And all of that is good because what have you heard? Jobs have been created. So that's the most important thing, and jobs for young people. So I would like to then move on to the next presentation or the next remarks that we will be having. These remarks will be from Lawrence Boya from the City of Johannesburg. Mr. Boya has been leading the Smart City Initiative since 2014 in the City of Johannesburg. Prior to that, he has held numerous executive positions here in Johannesburg as well as in the Eastern Cape. So I invite Mr. Boya. He didn't want me to do it.
Thank you, Program Director. I've already greeted all the important people, so I'll say at the moment all protocol observed. But let me greet the most important people, the ones that we are about today. And I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing what you have been busy working on. And I wish John Pellman from 702 was here. Is he here? Because when we launched this program, he slammed the city as wasting taxpayers' money. So the winners today, I wish they could be interviewed by John Pellman so that he can then repeat what he was saying then, that we're wasting the city's money. Let me also take this opportunity to say the fact that we've done what we've done and we're at this level so far also has to do with the vision and support and leadership that we got from our late mayor, Councillor. Sorry, just. I just had a mind block. Jolly D. It was him who felt when we presented this concept that no, this has to be one of the critical city initiatives, and he was prepared to lead it even from his office. So we must not forget his role and contribution. I'm not going to use much of my notes. I'm just going to speak from the heart, from the understanding, because when we speak about smart city, people get confused about what exactly are we talking about. I'm going to just put it very simply. A smart city is a city we all want to live in. It is a city that is better than the city of yesterday, the city of today. It is the city of our hopes and dreams. A city that is a city for a domestic worker, an informal trader, someone in the informal settlement. Everyone who lives in the city who find their lives being enabled, facilitated through what we do in the municipality and working with our partners. So when we talk about rolling out broadband, it's not just about technology, it is about facilitating communication, it is about facilitating access to opportunities. When we talk about rolling out CCTV cameras, we are extending our view and our eyes so that we can see what's going on in the city, especially if there's a crime, there's someone who's vandalizing infrastructure, etc. When we talk about establishing an integrated intelligent operations center at Martindale, we're talking about bringing all of the intelligence, the data that we gather through our operations everywhere in the city so that we can make sense of that data, interpret it intelligently, use AI, use analytics, and give a story that makes sense. So the innovation challenge is not different from that. It is a way of us working with our communities, with our partners, because we recognize as well that the city alone does not have the answers and doesn't have all of the solutions, to the challenges that we face today. We say that we must co-create the city that we want, the city of our dreams. We must be involved together in a co-production mode, because all of us have solutions that we can make a contribution to build the city that we want. That is why we've opened up this platform, this initiative, to say, here's the open door, as Monica was saying. This is the door you come in through the city to bring the solutions that you think can make the city better. From your own street where you live, the neighborhood where you stay, the region, to the city level. Because we say, and unapologetically, that we want to be a world-class city, an African world-class, a city that can compete with other cities in the world. What does that mean? That means that young people that graduate from Wits University, that graduate from UG, etc., are provided with opportunities here to shine and show talent and show innovation that comes out of this place. When we refer to the Silicon Valley in the US as an ecosystem that brings together universities, startups, etc., this is the kind of thing that we're talking about as well. So your winning in this innovation challenge contributes towards building Joburg as an urban living lab. A big test bed of innovations that we want to promote, and hopefully they can go out to the world as the first that come out of the African continent that can also be on par or even better with solutions that come from elsewhere. We must be proud Africans. Let's not just use other people's innovations, because those innovations come from their own ideas that are shaped through universities and platforms like the ones that we provide. But we also must produce something that the world will look at and respect us as the people who also not just consumers of other people's technologies, but also are creators. That is why we're saying, let's co-create and let's co-produce together. So without taking too much of the time, let me once again congratulate the winners that will be announced this morning, and say that as City of Johannesburg, we are your partners. This is your city, the door is open, your ideas, your solutions are welcome. Let's build a great, world-class African city together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lawrence, for your message. And also in support of the message is not only about partnerships, but co-production, right? Co-production, it's not something that just happens, it's intentional. And co-production is about us understanding where we are as a city, what your lived experiences are, what solutions are available, and producing a solution together. So our unit also looks at how do we design innovation jointly that can be eased into the city. So just yet another way that the Smart City Office through Innovation Unit is trying to support your endeavors. So I would like to, for us to look at the next innovator, BizTweak, who is also part of the cohort of Brendan. Actually, we do have the three. BizTweak had a solution that was going to go, oh, go ahead. Guys, can we restart the video?
Hi, I'm Nivashni Rampasad. I'm the CEO of
Okay,
Smarty.
so
We are
let's
one of
move
the
on
winners of the
because,
City of Johannesburg. My name is Joe Athamahlangu. I'm the founder of BizTweak. BizTweak is a diagnostic platform which we built to help incubators, accelerators, and the ecosystem of SME development at large to be able to digitize the entrepreneurship development program. We are one of the winners of the City of Johannesburg Innovation Challenge. And since winning and receiving the prize money, we have used that money to be able to grow our business, hire more people, and to be able to make sure that we have the technologies we need to improve our product. So we have established the product, and we have gone into a project with the Gauteng Department of Economic Development, where we help them find over 500 construction companies in Gauteng, and we leveraged our platform to do so.
we will find expression. So with that, I would like to then introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is the Chief Operating Officer of the City of Johannesburg, Mr. Tsepo Makola, and he's going to present us with his message from the higher-ups.
Thank you, Program Director, and good morning to everyone in the room. So just allow me, Program Director, to just start. I'm sure we all know the famous actor in the US, Denzel Washington, and he says something very small but powerful. And I'd like to start by just quoting him. And he says, you have to take whatever you are given and do something with it. And for me, I think it's a statement that we all live with. And today is really a demonstration of taking what you've been given, given the history of our country and where we come from, and taking that and converting into something that's practical, that's implementable. I think we've seen 2 videos today where it's a clear demonstration of you took something that really just was not given to you, and you converted it into something that's practical that we are now implementing. And for me, I think it resonates, and that's what basically we've been doing in the city. Let me acknowledge the Executive Mayor in absentia, and obviously represented by the office. Acknowledge the MMC Zungu, who's obviously going to be representing us from a political base. And that's important because these are political leaders, and sometimes we see them on TV doing politics, but we actually do not consider the fact that they create the policy and the environment for us as administrators to get to where we are now. For an example, during the leadership of the Executive Mayor Pakstow, we adopted Smart City as a policy and as a program of the City of Johannesburg. And that's why today you are seeing what we are seeing now. We are able to invest in making sure that we take innovation. So it's not a political gimmick, it's not a campaign, but it's actually reality and a policy that has to be created. And that's always important to sort of acknowledge that. Let me also just acknowledge the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Prof. Thank you very much, and I think we appreciate this relationship. And I always link it in the following way. I'm also a graduate, and I link it like this. So what we do in the academics is we learn the foundation, but where you actually learn that foundation is in the implementation. And that implementation only happens in the real world. And what you learn in theory is never the same as what you actually learn in the implementation. And that's why you always have to kind of cross that line. So I always say to my colleagues in the private sector and even in the public sector, the only time you learn, you can have 30 degrees, but the only time you learn anything from that degree is when you actually get onto the ground and you do it. And what follows next is you innovate what you've learned as a basic, and that's where we are today. And I think this is the demonstration, and we obviously can see what comes out of that innovation, particularly at Pick It Up. We struggled for many years trying to deal with the landfill revenue, but also calculating the amount of waste that we put into our landfills. And obviously that meant we needed to come up with, do we really want people to take their waste to the landfill, or can we do something with the waste in the landfill? And that came up with a very good project that we are running as the city, where we are now creating energy from the waste that we find in the landfill. And that is innovation. And if we've not looked at that, we would not be where we are. So the partnership between the City of Johannesburg, Wits University, Tsimologong is not just a coincidence. There's a clear link. You learn the foundation, you innovate, you implement, you improve the city. And of course, you'll have this world-class city that we are in now. And that for me is very important. And that is why we are going to continue to support the program that we are running today. So, and for me, it's key. So the postponed people today, the innovators, the winners of last year, the winners of this year, you are not going to stop. You need to move from that base that you've created and create a further base that will then allow the city to be a smart city. As I indicated earlier, smart city is not it's a program of the city, it's a policy of the city. And us as administrators have to implement that. And my job and my role is to make sure that I link the two together. The innovation, the implementation of the innovation, but of course, the growth of enterprises and entrepreneurs who are able to make us move to the next phase. So the law is very clear. The Constitution says to all of us, you have to create services using your communities. It's very clear, it's in the Constitution. The question is, how do you do that? How do you bridge that divide? So we've created a model that's called the co-production. We've implemented, Chris, that model, and I don't want to venture there. I'm sure MMC will talk about that. Then we had a change in administration, and it was called a vanity program. It's a vanity project. How can you work with communities to create better services in the city? But we have proven over time that indeed when you work with communities, because the solutions are in the communities, we can't always as administrators find the solutions. The solutions are in the people who are consuming the service. So we are required to provide basic service delivery services. Water, you have water on a daily basis. Yes, you may have challenges here and there because of technology. We must provide electricity. We must remove the waste. Obviously, we must create the roads and make sure that trucks are able to move from one area to the other, to the roads. But there are certain things that can be done a bit better by communities themselves. And how do you then allow that platform for communities, the city, and the academics to actually work together? And today, we are obviously witnessing the second level of those innovations through this platform, and that's why we created that platform. So for me, MMC and the executive mayor in absentia, we are going to continue supporting this initiative. What is important for us is to turn those innovations, turn those solutions into tangible enterprises that can move to the next phase, create jobs, reduce the high level of unemployment, and reduce the poverty levels. That helps us as a city. If you as citizens are functioning, we have a base where we can work from, but we can also demonstrate how we improve the city and achieve the world-class city that we want to be. We are going to remain the world-class city, and we will compete with world-class cities to make sure we get to the next level. So in those short words, please, the winners, my plea to you is continue to innovate, continue to grow. You have a partner in the city, you have the partner in Wits, you have a partner in Tsimologong. And lastly, Chair, is we are actually, Mr. Boyer, maybe we forgot to mention it, but let's mention it. In the office, we're working on something similar to the Silicon Valley, and we call it the Innovation District. So it starts from Hillbrow with the health precinct, moves into UJ, goes all the way and comes back this side. And what we really want to do is encourage that and name it as an innovation district, and in there it's where we allow innovation to happen. And we've moved to the design phase because we want to encourage innovation, but we also want to turn that innovation into practical solutions that people can benefit and the city can benefit and become smart city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Koo. I love the passion. I would be as passionate if I wasn't so nervous, so thank you for being able to express just how seriously the city is taking innovation and taking our partnerships. I love the message, take whatever you have been given and convert it into something, right? So take note of that. Walk away with at least that message. Make it into something. I also like the point that we learn in theory, but it's only in the practical implementation that we actually iterate and learn and get challenged. So I think that's another thing, another message to carry away, that the learning, and it doesn't stop here with an MOU that we sign in a pilot project. This is an ongoing thing. So I would also like to emphasize the passionate support for innovation, and that this is going to be a program that we move forward in and that we are attempting to scale up. So we've got many more plans related to this, and I also have to emphasize that the spatial commitment, that we are creating a district for innovation so that you actually have a hub that you can come to share ideas and get the type of support that you need. So thank you very much for that message. Am I able to queue up that video, or are we bypassing? Are we able to flight it? Okay. So let's move on to the next video before we have our next speaker.
My name is Kuru. A diagnostic platform which we built to help incubators, and system of SME development to be able to digitize the entrepreneurship development. We are one of Johannesburg Innovation Challenge, and since winning and receiving this money, we have used that money to be able to grow our business. My name is Joe Athomashangu. I'm the founder of BizTweak. BizTweak is a diagnostic platform which we built to help incubators, accelerators, and the ecosystem of SME development at large to be able to digitize the entrepreneurship development program. We are one of the winners of the City of Johannesburg Innovation Challenge. And since winning and receiving the prize money, we have used that money to be able to grow our business, hire more people, and to be able to make sure that we have the technologies we need to improve our product. So we have established the product, and we have gone into a project with the Gauteng Department of Economic Development, where we help
support them into implementation. I would like to call upon the CEO of Shalom Hong, Mr. Mark Harris, who will give us the next remarks related to innovation and their support of our innovation initiative. And we will immediately move into our showcase for the employees from the last Innovation Challenge. These are the employees of the City of Johannesburg, and you guys, you get a chance to tell our political heads exactly how this has helped internal as well as how it has helped externally. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to follow Lawrence's introduction. We've met everyone here, but there are some thank yous I just wanted to say. So all protocols are observed. But I think the most important part of today is recognition of the entrepreneurs and the role of Wits, the role of Tsimolo Hong, but also the role of the city has been extremely important. There's 2 points I want to talk about. But I have to acknowledge 2 people who have carried the weight of this program. That's Monique herself, and then also Nelson. They were the, round of applause. These are the people that we have collaborated on a day-to-day basis, and specifically Monique, because I think this program is pretty unique. And the reason it's unique, I want to spend just a minute or two on. Most startups, entrepreneurs, and innovators fail because of three reasons. The reasons are they don't build out products which are suitable for the market. It's the first one. The second one that's just as important is that they don't get any funding to complete the innovation. And then the third is about market access. And we do a lot of innovation programs at Wits University, but the reality, those, despite people having lots of money and spending a lot of money on accreditation, those three elements often get missed. They often get missed. And I want to congratulate the city for what they've done, because it's one of the few programs, and it's sort of covered in the other presentations that were given, was that those three issues have been addressed. Not enough, Monique. We need to, and representatives from the mayor office, we need to do a bit more. But it's one of the few programs, you called it Co-Create, but it really puts the entrepreneurs who are coming up with innovations to improve the city on a good stead. Because one part of the program, and I remember the previous mayor called me to the side at the last event, and he said, I like the innovations, but Wits University, you're going to help make sure that we build products that are going to be valuable. Because it's easy to give people some money and then walk away and leave them to their own wilds. But I think, Monique, specifically, congratulations, because I think that first thing about building product, and Monique puts me under a lot of pressure to make sure that that happens. And it's the right thing, because we see people, it's easy to come up with a concept or innovation, and you get the money, and then you go and do other stuff. But in this case, it really has been heavy pulling to make sure that all those innovators have built product that the city can use. I think the second thing is around the funding. There's a lot of people that do participate with innovation challenges, but I think the amount of money, it's not enough MMC, but the amount of money that's allocated does set them on a good trend, and including the funding to help them build out the product. And then the third biggest failure is typically about market access. And it's been hard for Monique specifically to make sure that she gets the rest of the city to agree to adopt and implement innovations and product that will achieve it. And sometimes we fail. Not because of anyone's done anything wrong. But I think the collaboration that the city has managed to do across the departments, like Pick It Up or City Power or City Water, etc., has really elevated the program to a different level. Too often, as in private sector, we will see that there's a great innovation, but the innovators can't even get through the front door, even though the company may recognize them. And normally, it's because they rather purchase products from global multinationals rather than looking at innovation. So the city has really built something, I think, that's workable. It's something which we can scale, and something that will be sustainable over a far longer period if we can continue to sustain that program and make sure the most important thing is that the entrepreneurs can succeed. So we're there to support you, and again, congratulations to the city.
Thank you very much. I am humbled, but I'm passionate, so a lot can happen when you're passionate. Even if you are under you keep the passion and you keep the persistence and the determination. So thank you for highlighting that. We are going to do and have a quick 5-minute comfort break. We just have a little bit of a min that we need to do for the next phase, which is the handover ceremony. So we ask you can either sit patiently or you can go to the restrooms, which are straight out the door here and across the hall. If I can just ask the MMC and the COO in the EM's office to meet us at the table there, as well as, is it Fitz signing as well? The CEO. And the CEO from Shilmakong. If we can have you briefly and quickly so that we can get back to the program. Can we play a little bit of music in the 5-minute interlude? Please can I ask everybody to come back inside so that we can have our procession of come back in. Are all of our innovators here? Because you're next. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry about that. Okay, good enough. Presented to us from each one of those regions. So I would like to acknowledge before we do that, that helped us to get to this point. We had Nomsa Kana, who's a distinguished nuclear scientist and appointee on the commissioners for the Fourth Industrial Revolution at the presidency. She was one of the evaluators. We had Devesh Mothelal, who's the head of the Innovation Hub Engineering Center of Excellence with the City of Johannesburg. We had Papedi Tsapu Pukubje, who is the chief economist of the Department of Economic Development. We also had Moses Mohatlani, who is the Wits Innovation Center head of Innovation Systems Lab. And lastly, you had myself, and all of us were facilitated by the stellar support of Nelson Sejota. So without further ado, I would like to call up our political head, MMC Zungu, if you can come this side. Also our coup, Mr. Tsepo Makola, for the handover, and then the Deputy Vice Chancellor, as well as Mark, Lynn and Mark, if you can also stand here. Okay, so are we ready for our drum rolls? Okay, so so we had 3 categories. We had our third prize winners, which won 100,000 rands each. There were 4 prizes in that category. Then we had 2 winners of a 200,000 rand prize, and then we had the ultimate winner, which was 300,000 rands. So we are going to obviously introduce our third prize winners first. So if I can please call up Graham Cringe. I hope I'm pronouncing your surname properly. If you can stand this side for a moment. So Graham, his innovation is called Water Watchers. So every drop of water lost is a service delivery failure. The solution transformed WhatsApp in a citywide reporting network, allowing residents to send a location pin and short video of leaks. This gives the city accurate, real-time data to respond faster and reduce water losses. So it also helps the city to engage better with the community and to resolve issues faster. So if we can please hand off to Mark. Sorry, to Graham. So Graham, you stand. Yeah, you just stand in. You get yours. You've never done it before. Okay, so you hold this and then you go into the center. We're going to bring you here. Okay. Cool. If I can ask you to come on this side. You'll have this on one side. And then City of Johannesburg on the other. Okay. There we go. All right. Bravo. So Graham. So our next, so I'm going to start just introducing everyone, and you will come and stand, and then you will go for your ceremonial picture. So from Region C, we have Maihit Sibabalwe Mvelo, who is in a digital world. Too many small businesses are still invisible. So Siba solution equips local SMEs with websites, emails, and a platform to be discovered. He opens the door for customers' growth and real economic participation. Oh, representing. Oh, representing. Oh, representing Siba. I was like, I know I met Siba. Yeah, thank you. So if you can stand there, and they will hand into the middle with everyone. So everyone, you go into the middle of the 4. You go in the middle of Wits and the city to collect your prize. Thank you very much. Next, we have Region F, Drobotics. So this is Ishmael Lamvanji. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Lavanji. So when water quality issues arise, delays can mean serious risk to communities. Drobotics is changing that by using drones to collect and analyze water samples on site. They give the city faster, real-time data to respond before problems escalate downstream. So if we can have Ishmael to please come. Are you sorry? Okay, Ishmael's wife will do is, Graham has been taken on by Joburg Water. Siba has been taken on by the Department of Economic Development. And Ishmael is City Parks and Zoos, looking at our streams. So, okay. And then lastly, our 4th winner of the 100,000 prize is Thabo Tabo from Utengo Environmental Services. So, in many areas, sanitation systems overflow or fail completely. Tabo's solution provides a decentralized solar-powered system that safely treats waste on-site, reducing health risk and removing the need for constant maintenance. So in other words, we don't have to have piping that goes to these toilet systems. It is a standalone that we can also use later on for downstream byproducts. So he has also been taken on by City Parks and Zoo and Region G. And Region G. So a big round of applause for our third prize winners. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, you all can sit down. Oh, but you're here. Yes. Okay. Are you able to go in just for the sake of us being able to take a picture with you? Please? If you don't mind. We thought you had left us. Okay, so as we see, innovation, I sometimes rebuke this thing where we think innovation only happens at certain ages. So innovation, no matter who the innovator. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to our second prize winners, okay? So from Region A, we have the What If Trust and WhatsApp Primary Cooperative. We have Nokwanda Shabangu and Lesija Jack Molokome. Okay, well done, guys. So from block toilets to failures are a daily reality in our township communities. This solution enables instant reporting and faster repairs, reducing water wastage opportunities, develops local skills, and partners with industry to strengthen delivery on the ground. This is not just a fix, it is a community-driven system for sustainable service delivery. Well done, guys. And they are also being piloted with Joburg Water. Okay, and then from region, we have Mkazi Concepts. If we can have Zama Nkamu and Peace Majara. So in busy public health facilities, hand hygiene is difficult to monitor constantly. Sasani uses smart sensors to track hygiene practices in real time, helping facilities improve compliance and reduce infection risk for patients. So they will be going into our clinics, so obviously they are with the Department of Health. Well done. Okay, and now we do our drum roll for our grand prize winner. So our grand prize winner of 300,000 rands is Kepri Innovations. We have Mr. Bandile Dlabandi. Now, Bandile is going into the zoo specifically. So, and Johannesburg doesn't just have a waste problem, it has a massive untapped opportunity. Bandile, through his Capri Innovations, is transforming food waste into valuable resources using black soldier flies. This means cleaner communities, reduced landfill pressure, and new economic value created where waste once piled up. This is not just a waste management, it's a smarter, more sustainable city in action. And he's not just looking at food waste, he's also looking at our zoo waste. So you can imagine how big those piles are. But we are also creating a very, very high concentrated and nutritious compost out of what these flies are producing. So thank you very much, Bandile. So thank you everyone for, that is the conclusion of our ceremonial part. We are going to have a brief discussion with the employee innovators, and then we are going to hand over to our MMC. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, can I please ask our COJ employees who won their awards to please come forward? And then at the end, before we all leave, we will have a group photo with our political heads. It feels a bit cramped in here, so I think we might want to take that group photo upstairs, further outside. It might be better lighting as well. So if I can have, I see Lesijo, Linda, Lindani. Okay, and Nelson. So over to you, Nelson.
Thank you, Monique. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nelson Sohota. I am seated here with the previous winners of the Innovation Challenge, specifically the City of Johannesburg Smart City Employee Innovation Challenge. We had the privilege of hosting them and celebrating them in the last ceremony. Now, we are going to be hearing their stories. We're going to be hearing, about their solution. We are going to be hearing about the journey that they've taken, since winning their prize. I am joined by Lesego Mlambo. She is from the Community Development Department. Thank you. And thank you so much. We also have Linda Nkosi from Transport. I understand that you are now seconded at the Smart City office. Thank you, Linda. We also have Lindani Skakani, and he is from the Library and Information Services. Thank you for joining us, Linda. Now, we are going to be hearing about their solutions. So I'm going to just ask them to tell us, in your own words, what solution did you propose for the Employee Innovation Challenge? We'll start with you, Linda, and briefly tell us about your solution, and then we'll get to hear from Lesego and then Linda. What solution did you propose that you won this Innovation Challenge with?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm not going to greet all of you because I don't know all the protocol. I will just say all protocol observed. I don't want to miss anyone. My name is Lindan Sikakane. I'm a senior librarian at City of Johannesburg Libraries. So in City of Johannesburg Libraries, we have 90 plus libraries across the city. So I'm sure that you know libraries. Do you visit libraries? Yes. So libraries are known as the places of books only. Only go in, take a book and go out and read. But we are trying by all means to change the perspective of libraries. Remember that we've got SDG goals from the United Nations. We've got 17 of them, but we are going to focus on the 9th goal, which is innovation. So what we do is that we do a lot of programs within City of Johannesburg Libraries, and those programs, they linked with ICT tools, laptops, tablet, coding games, gamification, because we want our communities to have exposure to our libraries. So our solution, we built a library tool share app. That app is going to assist us to share these resources, laptops, coding games, tablets, routers, all those things that are going to assist us to do programs in those libraries. So it is an app that we are going to use to track our resources, to track our assets, especially ICT tools, because they are very expensive. So sharing is caring. So that's the idea that we have. So the app is 90% finished. We are going to see it there when we are doing showcasing. So that's the idea. And when we started the project, we were two. So it's me and my former colleague. He left the city. He's now working for this institution, Wits Academic Library, because of this project. So he used the same certificate that we want to apply for this particular job. So you see, and the last part is that last year I got a promotion. When I was entered the competition, I was a librarian. So last year I got a promotion to become the senior because of these projects. So those are the benefits.
Amazing, Lindani.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lindan. Already, Lindan, you're touching on the impact this program has made on you professionally, which is really, really good. I'm going to allow Lesego also just to tell us a bit about your solution. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lesego Mlambo. I am the Manager Collections for Museum Africa, Arts and Culture under the Community Development. Smart city innovation. As a museologist / archaeologist, you'd think about what is it that we're talking about when you're talking about innovation, technology. What is it that I can bring into the museums, especially in the city of Johannesburg? So when I joined the city in 2021, I joined Museum Africa as a boring museum, as a dead museum, and you're thinking, how is it that we can be able to attract more people, more young people into the museum? Then I realized that we do not have anything digital. We do not have anything innovation inside the museum. Then I thought, let me introduce something that is called re-indigenization. So when people talk about community services, if you're talking about community services, if you don't know your identity, if you don't know where you're coming from, then what's the whole point of it all? So my innovation was kind of tapping into that field of re-indigenizing people so that they can be proud of their identity, they can know of their history, they can know of their heritage. And how do I do that? I took the story from our archives, from our collection, the main archaeological objects and the stories behind it, so that people can be able to identify with those kinds of objects from a technological point of view, so that people don't think that museums are boring. So in 2023, I came up with an exhibition called African 3D Map Maze that shows a kind of flow of how a migration kind of influence technology. Because when you're talking about technology, young people of today, your 2Ks, they're thinking about these things, the text that we're using. But people don't understand that when you're talking about technology, actually technology is the one that comes from Africa itself, in terms of language, in terms of medicine, in terms of infrastructure, of course, in terms of infrastructure. So I was trying to re-indigenize them, that it is embedded in you historically, and in the past, your ancestors, they came up with different types of innovations and so forth and so on. So from an archaeological point of view, geological point of view, geomorphological point of view of things and so forth and so on. So that also influenced my second phase of the innovation when I joined, or when I entered the competition, which now I got into another exhibition which is called Phantom Spaces through AI. So as you enter into Museum Africa, just like any young person, if you don't know who you are, as soon as you see a ceramic object, as soon as you see an ingot, as soon as you see a drum beat, you get to connect with that. So in that exhibition, it kind of explains how historically into a youth person that gets to enter into a museum, so that they can be able to connect through those objects. But it is done through what? Through technology, through animation, through storytelling that is done in the exhibition itself. So there is no actual object, there is no actual, thank you. So there is no actual things that you can touch on, but it is just animation and storytelling behind this innovation. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lesego. Linda, I'm going to ask you to, of course, respond like our colleagues have been responding, just telling us about your solution. But also I want us to talk about the people on the ground, So as you are explaining your solution, can I ask that you also tell us, how is the guy on the streets benefiting from the work that you are doing? How is it improving, service delivery in the city of Johannesburg? Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Linda Ngosi, and I come from the transport department. But then professionally, I'm very passionate about system development. So I came up with a performance management platform which monitors how the city employees actually do their deliverables. So the most important thing that I learned, because I have a very big background in business management, is that the objective behind your functions are way more important than anything else. So when I came into the city about 6 years ago, I was sitting down and I was trying to understand how the city actually works. So the city has what you call an integrated development plan, which will trickle down up to the last employee in the city when it comes to service delivery. So as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, how do I measure what I'm actually doing to improve the state of the city and make sure that I give service delivery? So we sat down and said, in the city, we have a manual process of performance management. So what does it measure? Basically, it measures how you do your work, are you meeting your deliverables, and is the services getting to the individuals on the right time and the time frame that is specified. So we build an automated system whereby as an employee, when you enter into the city, the most important thing, you'll have a strata of your deliverables given unto you. Then unto this system, your line manager is able that you sit down on a peer-to-peer based provision whereby you are able to come up up with your deliverables. Remember, sometimes you might have a job specification, but it does not meet the needs of the people and the service delivery in that moment. So what made our system robust? It is very robust in a sense that you are able to sit down and say, now we're looking at region F or we're looking at region C. People are struggling with certain issues. Maybe it could be water, maybe it could be potholes, all those things. Now we go like, which entity focuses on that? You'd realize that it's Jerry. Now the system we build is very simple. At a high level, whether you're at city manager level, cool level, or you are just a strategist, a director within that system, you're able to go into the system, look at the dashboard that we have actually given, and by looking at the dashboard, you can actually see what talks directly to the function that has to be there. Then you can also identify redundancies. You can also identify places to improve on those service delivery functions. So today, as you're sitting here and you are just getting on a bus, because I work for the transport department, you're working on a bus and you're asking yourself, why are the gates not working? Why is it that we do not have enough information on tariff changes and all those things? What our system will do, you get into the system, go look for a person within the transport department, realize that people that are responsible for that particular function are in marketing. Therefore, it becomes easy for you to enhance operation, it becomes easier to improve service delivery and also not only that, the most important thing is job satisfaction. I believe that it's very important to make sure that our employees of the city have job satisfaction based on the objective behind their job so that they can deliver service delivery that is unmatched and it's worth the world-class city that we're trying to build. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, everyone. We are now going to wrap up, but before we do, we'll just take the last one. Now, so for the employees of the city that are listening, can you maybe just touch on how has this impacted you personally and professionally? We want, of course, to see more employees coming up, with ideas, but also submitting, for pipelines like this one. How has that impacted you personally and professionally? And then we will close.
Thank you, sir. Currently, I am doing some training with some Heritage Foundation in Greece because of this innovation or because of this award. So it kind of made me stand out there to show that I've done so much work inside a city that is trained with resources. So it goes back to what the CEO meant in terms of work with what you have. And then also I'm working on a project with a colleague of mine where we are now entering into a collaboration with Wits as well as Timologong again for the next financial year. And now we are thinking futuristic in terms of developing an exhibition that shows beyond Johannesburg being a gold mining city. So now we are trying to show them that there are archaeological sites that people used to stay here. It used to be a home for people. So it kind of instills that pride, that sense of pride that I am a specialist in my field that can contribute way better in terms of making it a world city. Thank you.
Thank you, Leseho. Let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We do have their exhibition upstairs. Please stop by and see this great work they are talking about and how it's making impact in the city. Thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you, Monique.
Thank you. Hello. Testing. Is it, okay, I think it's working now. Can you hear me? Here we go, okay. So thank you very much. MMC, I thought it was important to have the employees speak before you come up, just to kind of set the tone for how we are looking externally, internally, but we are all building innovation together. I also would just like to highlight that we've learned from each one of these iterations and each one of the challenges, and now we are also ready to innovate even as ourselves as Smart City. So we're moving on to bigger platforms that will emphasize and bring in more co-production and find better ways for us to reach directly into communities that aren't just based upon calls for innovation, but also looking at how the city can put out and send out work packages to ask communities to innovate around the various problems that are existing around the city that we don't often or that we can't always get to because of priorities and budgets. So with that, I would like to open up the floor for our MMC, who will be delivering the message on behalf of the Executive Mayor's Office. The Executive Mayor, unfortunately, was called away on an emergency late last night for this morning, and therefore we will be honored by the MMC presenting that keynote address on his behalf. Thank you very much. MMC Zungu, if you can take a seat.
Thank you, Prom Director. Let me start by acknowledging yourself. Also acknowledge the Chancellor from Wits. Acknowledge the CEO of Tsimologong. Acknowledge the COO from the city. Acknowledge the city officials who are present here with us. Also acknowledge the awardees whom we are here because of them, and just fellow residents of the city. Before I speak, Prom Director, indeed the mayor has wanted to be here and be part of this prestigious project that the city has partnered with the Tsimologong. Unfortunately, he had to attend another program that is family related. Indeed, we appreciate this opportunity as the city to have been invited to this program. And we shall always avail ourselves when invited. Prom Director, today I stand before you not only as a mayor, not as a mayor, yes, but as a custodian of the city whose story has always been defined by courage, ingenuity, and determination to create opportunity where none existed. It grew from gold, and today must rise on something even more powerful: knowledge, connectivity, and digital inclusion. Johannesburg was born from ambition. It grew through enterprise, and today it must rise through innovation that is local, inclusive, and driven by its people, especially its small businesses and its youth. That is why today matters, because the Smart City Community Innovation Awards are not just about recognizing ideas. They are about recognizing who will build Johannesburg's future. As we continue our journey towards being a world-class African city, we must ask a direct question: who will carry the city forward? The answer is clear. It will be small and medium enterprises. They'll create jobs where people live. It will be young people who bring energy, skills, and new ways of thinking. And to be communities that understand their own challenges best. Innovation, therefore, is not a luxury for this city. It is how we grow the economy, fix service delivery, and renew trust. It is a political choice to back entrepreneurs instead of bureaucracy alone, and to invest in young people rather than manage unemployment. The community innovators we honor today are not distant from our economic reality. Many of them are township-based entrepreneurs, small businesses solving everyday problems, youth-led initiatives responding to unemployment and exclusion, community organizations innovating around service delivery. These innovators understand something fundamental. If SMEs succeed, Johannesburg succeeds. If our youth are equipped, the city has a future. That is why this awards program does not reward theory. It rewards practical innovation that can be piloted, scaled, and adopted. Today's awardees are not outside government. They are partners in rebuilding capacity, efficiency, and opportunity. Let me speak briefly about how the digital broadband infrastructure program is central to this economy. DBIP is the digital foundation that allows small businesses to operate competitively, young innovators to access skills, markets, and platforms, community solutions to connect with city systems. When the city invests in municipal fiber and digital platforms, it is doing more than modernizing government. It is saying SMEs should not be excluded from digital economy because of cost or location. Young people should not be locked out of opportunity because they lack access. Innovation should not depend on privilege, but on potential. Without this infrastructure, innovation remains uneven, and opportunity remains concentrated amongst a few. With this infrastructure, Program Director, a solution developed by young entrepreneurs in one ward can be tested, improved, and scaled across regions. Connectivity is not a luxury, it is a lifeline. Digital inclusion is how we break the inherited inequalities of the past and give every resident a fair chance to participate in the economy of the future. That is why DPIP is relevant today, because every award-winning idea depends on connectivity, platforms, and access to succeed. Johannesburg's Smart City Vision is not about technology for its own sake. Our Smart City Vision recognizes that digital infrastructure is essential to job creation, SME development, and the growth of diversified urban economy. This is why the city's 2025-26 IDP plan reaffirms digital transformation as a strategic priority, supported by more than 300 million in smart city and ICT investments. Our smart city is about building a city where SMEs can grow and create work. A city where innovation lowers the cost of doing business. A city where government systems support enterprise, not frustrated digital infrastructure enables. Faster licensing and permits. Smarter service responses, new market access for local businesses. When service delivery improves, SMEs thrives. When SMEs thrive, communities stabilize. When communities stabilize, the city grows. Innovation is how we make that cycle work. Fellow residents, no city survives without investing in its youth. Johannesburg is one of the youngest cities on the continent, but youth unemployment remains one of our greatest threats. That is why innovation must be a youth strategy, not only a technology strategy. Through digital infrastructure innovation challenges and local pilots, the city is opening space for young people to develop skills aligned to the modern economy, test ideas in real environments, build enterprises, not just look for jobs. Today's youth innovators show us what is possible when talent is met with opportunity. We do not need to import solutions. We need to unlock the genius already in our townships, campuses, and communities. Johannesburg's economy is not built in one place. Innovation must reach informal traders and township businesses, inner city enterprises and creative industries, community-based SMMEs and micro-enterprises across all 7 regions. That is why the city is committed to ensuring that innovation programs, digital access, and SME support are distributed, localized, and fair. Location must not determine destiny in this city. Innovation only matters if it delivers results. When young people see ideas turn into income, hope grows. When SMEs see government systems improve, confidence returns. When communities see solutions adopted, trust is rebuilt. That is what co-production looks like in practice. Government enabling, communities innovating, SMEs delivering, youth leading. In conclusion, Director, today we celebrate innovators, but more importantly, we affirm a direction. Johannesburg chooses SMEs as engines of growth, youth as drivers of innovation, digital infrastructure as an enabler, communities as partners. That is why DPIP matters. That is why the Smart City Community and Innovation Awards matters. And that is why today matters. To our Ds, we are building a future of the city. To our young people, Johannesburg belongs to you. To entrepreneurs, the city is backing you. Together we'll build a Johannesburg that works, inclusive, and prospers. I congratulate all of you winners, and I think you've come a long way. The partnership with the city means a lot to us. We'll keep supporting. I thank you.
Thank you. I almost forgot I have to come back to close off the program. I was enthralled by the speech. So I just want to again say thank you to all of our attendees. Thank you for our political leadership and your support. Thank you for the leadership at Wits for your support as well. And thank you most especially for all of the flow of ideas that have come through from our innovators. This is not the first, it's not the last, and we certainly hope that we are going to build from strength to strength and support you through this process. So yet again, next year when we come back, that we will have you 7 discussing the successes of your innovations. So with that, I think we close off the program. I would like to have all of the 7, the MMC and the COO, obviously their time is very precious. Can I have our 7 innovators to walk behind them upstairs so that we can take a group picture with everybody? And you can return then for the catering and the aftermath. What I would like to see is if after the picture, if they have time, they can walk through the exhibition space for you to be able to present to them. But again, just note that their time is very short. We have already extended them beyond the expected time frames. So with that, can I ask everybody else to remain seated so that we can move as efficiently as possible? May I please ask our political leaders to stand? MMC and COO. We need to do the final picture. There was not enough space here for all of the innovators, so we wanted you to do it upstairs if you don't mind. Nelson, or can you please guide them and direct them to where they will be, and then you can help them to walk through the showcase. Thereafter, as I noted, you can come back down after you look at the showcase. There is catering for everybody. Thank you very much, everyone, and that is the end of our ceremony. Yeah, let's round up with a round of applause. Okay, everyone, thank you. Okay, if you can follow them just for, yeah, just follow them. Okay, for everyone else, after you see the MMC, after you see the members of that